Hi everyone, I wanted to do a very quick live to talk about the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza, talk to you about stepping into the quantum, the world of energy, for those of you interested in this realm, which I find to be one of the most exciting realms to investigate myself. And some of you might have seen some weird posts I've posted recently, like people standing on a beach, separated, looking like zombies, and just strange things. And I wanted to kind of bring light to this and just talk about it from a perspective of how I look at it. And, you know, I think some people must think it's some kind of cult or something. And I just wanted to share some of the best gems, which are just going to be mainly off the top of my head or whatever comes through. So the world of energy is such a, well, the world of energy and the quantum, it's such a huge, vast topic. But why do people go into this work? Why do they study the likes of Dr. Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and Nassim Haramein, there's so many, Bruce Lipton. What is it that people are searching for and experiencing results from? What is it? There's some kind of magic going on. If you're a follower of Dr. Joe Dispenza, you'll know that people have attended his events, and you don't have to attend an event to experience these kind of transformations and radical remissions. You can do this at home, listening to meditations and doing the work yourself. But what is it? What is it that causes people from 65 countries, in this case there were 1,800 people from 65 countries to descend upon Cancun? And they're all over the world, by the way, they're not just Cancun, or they're in various locations throughout the world. What is it that causes people to descend upon this location to experience these kind of results? So really, these are teachings that go back to the beginning of time. They go back to, interestingly, unedited texts of certain religious scriptures, for example. They were in there, and for whatever reason, we don't need to go in there now, they have been removed. But they aren't new. None of this is new. What Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing so well is providing the environment for people to have an experience, to embody the teachings of ultimately understanding our emotions and the power of getting connected to the heart. We know scientifically that different emotions have different frequencies, and one of Tesla's famous quotes is, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. And this is the way of the future. This energy medicine is the way of the future. There's many, many different approaches to energy medicine. This is one. This embodies so many of them. And people are experiencing what would be regarded as miracles in current times, or in, thousands of years ago. People having these spontaneous remissions from so-called incurable illnesses, according to Western medicine, which is drugs and surgery. So what people are doing here is embodying the energy, really embodying the energy, for example, of the healed person, or the abundant person, or the perfect relationship, or whatever it is that one wants to kind of manifest in their lives external to their body. But people are understanding more and more progressively just about the power of our own energy and the power of our emotions, and the importance of letting go of all the trapped energy, the trauma, whether it's a small trauma or a big trauma, which is associated with events in our lives that can jolt us and leave an energetic imprint on our lives, preventing us from healing or preventing us from living a joyful life ultimately. And the world of quantum, of energy, we are basically energy. We are 99.999999999% empty space or energy, and 0.00000000001 matter. So we are, I didn't say 0.1 matter. We're 0.0, all of those zeros, many zeros, 1 matter. We are mostly energy. I was recently asked on a podcast this week actually, what is the one thing you'd like to know now that you didn't know before? And I would say something clicked so quickly when I understood us as we are more energy than we are matter. We are more energy than we are physical. This is how people are experiencing spontaneous remissions, radical remissions, things happening in days. So really the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and Nassim Haramein and many other spiritual teachings. It's not just Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about this. There are many teachers teaching exactly the same principles. Joe Dispenza just has a lot of science and a lot of data to show exactly what's happening in the body when we are changing our energy, when we are creating coherence between our head brains and our heart brains, when we are creating this harmony in the body, like a symphony that happens throughout the body. How are people doing this? How are people having these remissions? So if I were to say it really, really simply, it's embodying the motion of, or embodying the feeling of whatever we want to attract into our lives, whether it's the body or something external to us or external to our physical bodies. And living from our future rather than being chained to the past and our past traumas and our past experiences and reliving day by day, all of the old stories, all of the old events, all of the old traumas, everything, it becomes a program in the mind. And once we let go of the past, we can create a new body and recondition the body to a new mind to create a new future, whatever that looks like for you. But so much can be done in this presence of the quantum field. Quantum entanglement. We know that we are interconnected. We know that we are energetically connected. Quantum physics has proven this. A fundamental principle, teaching of spirituality, is we are literally connected. We are all one. And that is proven. We are connected, every single one of us. I once heard that the reason that we are suffering, the ultimate cause for suffering, is the illusion of separateness, I'll say that again. The illusion of being separated is what is creating most suffering, or all suffering. Because once that exists in everyone's minds and bodies, everything changes. So what is Joe Dispenza? I'm jumping around a bit. What happens there? What goes on at these events? How are people able to reverse multiple brain tumors in the space of a week? How are deaf people hearing again? How are blind people seeing again? How are handicapped people getting out of their wheelchairs and walking again? This isn't someone walking around going, you are healed, you are healed. That's not what this is about. This is about each individual embodying a new energy. Because to change any of our symptoms in our body, we need to change our energy. It's a huge thing to understand if one is just starting off with some kind of chronic illness. I started off with anti-inflammatory nutrition and fitness and grounding and anything about getting connected to nature, sticking to the nature codes, all these physical things, getting rid of toxins in the environment, getting rid of toxins internally to help the body to heal. All of that works, of course. It's the physical. The mental piece is huge, the emotional piece is huge, and the energy piece encompasses all of this. It's so phenomenal, it's so magnificent. It is, I would say, the most elevated way to live, understanding us as energy beings, not these physical beings separated from one another, in competition with one another. We are literally connected, and there is a lot that we can do to embody the energy of the person that we wish to become and already are in lots of different parallel dimensions at the same time. That's a lot I've just said. But there's so much to this world of energy that none of us understand, and it's just scratching the surface. So people have attended these events and achieved these spontaneous remissions and achieved miracles in their lives that were otherwise completely not in their realm of awareness, consciousness. So a lot of people are changing themselves to change their external reality or to heal themselves. And the actual teachings are so straightforward themselves, but embodying it is the more challenging piece, which is why it's a work, which is why it's a practice. The meditations are a practice to embody the person, the future you, every single day, and recondition the body to a new mind. So this is what we're doing in these meditations. And if you've seen these weird photos of us all standing still facing the sun on the beach, that beach, by the way, people have had spontaneous remissions on that beach. Dr. Joe has talked about there being people who have fallen back in love with themselves. In one moment, this surge of energy, of love, surges through every single cell in their body, and through various processes has created a spontaneous remission. We know scientifically that the chemicals of love secrete a very different concoction of chemicals compared with the chemicals of fear, and most of us are living by the hormones of stress almost day by day. And it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way in any way, shape or form, but we aren't being taught the tools of this. Something else that Joe Dispenza has spoken about is how new information appears in the blood when we meditate. He's got the data, And he's shown how people's biology changes from day 0 to day 7. We literally get a biological upgrade during this meditative process. I mean, all the clues were there. They were all here in ancient times. It's just we're only kind of tapping back into this again in our current world. And in my opinion, it couldn't happen fast enough because there's been so much corruption for more than a century in the world of medicine and beyond. I don't need to go into it now, but a lot of stuff that's been happening, keeping us away from the knowing of the powers that we have within us, the phenomenal power that we have to heal ourselves, the phenomenal power we have to heal each other. We were healing each other in these coherence healing sessions. He never imagined he'd be doing this 3 years ago. He said to us, if you had spoken to me 3 years ago and said to me in 3 years' time, you'll be setting up the room so people are literally healing each other with 4 people either side of a healee in the middle who has some kind of illness they want to heal, all of us directing energy. This isn't talking about God or anything like that, and it's all about energy. He never actually talks about God, although that's not anything he's against or I'm against. In fact, I'm absolutely not against that. I'm absolutely all for it. All I'm saying is the wording that he uses is around energy, the quantum, and we are using this energy to direct it onto people, and they are having remissions from some of the most incurable of things. And it's nothing more than understanding us as energy, and it's just a phenomenal way to live. Once we get out of a scarcity mindset and a lack mindset and competitive mindset, everything is changing, and it's always changing. So there's a lot of potential for us all to live a remarkable life, and that's just a few little snippets. There's a lot of information I've just given there. So I'm going to probably share a link to episode 1 blog post of this event. I've actually recorded each day of the last event actually on my blog already, but it's phenomenal. If you know of anyone who's got any kind of chronic illness, some kind of incurable illness according to Western medicine, which is one method of learning, by the way, it's just one method of learning, there's lots of other forms of medicine. If you know of anyone, even if these teachings aren't aligning with you, please share this information or direct them to Dr. Joe Dispenza on Instagram or YouTube or his website. Even if you don't understand it yourself because it's not resonating yet, I encourage you to share it with them because it might resonate with them and it might cause them a transformation like that they would never imagine. Some people go to these events kicking and screaming, not quite, but they're dragged by their partner or their spouse or their mum or their dad or their daughter or anyone. There's lots of people who get dragged here, and they're the ones that often apply the principles and get the results faster than everyone else. It's amazing. So that's a little bit of a snippet of my experience with Joe Dispenza last week in Cancun. I'm still here and I wanted to do this before I leave, which is tomorrow. So thank you for listening. There's not many people here. I guess it's not the most optimal time to do a live, but thank you for listening, and send me any questions or comment below. Thank you.